Alrighty, good evening, everybody. Hi, Lauren. How are you?
Hello, I'm so good, excited to be here, and just honored and grateful.
Awesome. So I'll kick things off. My name is Cheyenne Thomas, and I am one of the ambassadors for the Madison Square Boys and Girls Club. We are so excited for tonight's masterclass. I think we're very excited, mainly because of our guests that we have, but also because we're back with another masterclass, right? Lauren, we are so thankful to have you joining us this evening. And on behalf of everyone, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to be here this evening.
Of course.
So, without further ado, I'm going to pass the baton to you, and please introduce yourself to everybody.
Certainly. Well, thank you so much, Cheyenne. I'm honored to be here. Hello, young people. First off, I'm so excited to talk to you all and just really share a little bit more about my journey and how I got to, where I am in my life. A little bit about, what I do. I like to consider myself as a creative artist. So basically, I express myself through storytelling, through different forms of art. Okay, whether that's creating a film or whether it's acting or hosting, I like to express myself through art. I'm also an entrepreneur, so I have my own media business where I'll take my gifts and talents, my personality, my voice, and use them to help other people express themselves, whether it's a brand that needs a commercial or a musical artist that needs a music video. Pretty much, they come to me, I listen to their vision, and I kind of transform that into something tangible that people can watch and enjoy. Um, Oh, sorry, I thought you said
Oh,
something. So that's pretty much just a spiel about, what I do. But now, if you're ready, I can pretty much just kind of dive deep into my story a little bit. So, I grew up as a little girl on the west side of Detroit. And I've always loved art, art and expressing myself creatively. Yes, we can put up the first picture there. That's me and all my personality. I've always had a lot of personality as a kid. I've always had a big voice. I've always loved kind of entertaining and performing. So, needless to say, it just kind of makes sense that I would kind of go into the career path that I am now. I think one thing about natural talent is that it's organic to you, and I think that with hosting and television and acting, I knew from a really early age that it's something that I want to do. But the difference between talent and skill is that skill is something that you kind of have to work on, right? You kind of have to sharpen your gifts and talents and practice at it every day. So even though, I had this big personality growing up in Detroit and doing things, running around, being loud, fake hosting my own shows with like a hairbrush in my room and singing and dancing. It was also a side of me that was really shy and awkward, still kind of shy and awkward. Um, and I guess that's where the skill part comes in. My mother was actually loving enough to begin to put me into programs to really sharpen my natural talents. So she would put me in radio programs. She would put me in programs to communicate better, theater, dance. And actually, one of the programs that she put me in as a young girl was the Boys and Girls Club in Detroit. So I was actually just like many of you all, attending the Boys and Girls Club. And, it was great. I got to learn a lot about myself, just about my personality, my voice, and who I wanted to be. So, um, got my own
that's
business here.
yeah. So that's awesome. My question is, so being from Detroit and then being a part of all of those programs, like you said that you were naturally born with like a big personality and things like that. But
Mhm.
I guess my question is like, what would you say, like, how about folks, young adults, young children, the youth in general, that are afraid to be or to act or to step out in their true selves? Like, what advice would you give to them, like how to be comfortable in all that they are?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I think that comfortability with yourself comes from, really just learning more about who you are. Um, for me, like I said, it came through the theater programs because I got a chance to have somewhere to go where I can kind of play around and have fun and kind of, not be judged so much. Because I think so many of us are afraid to like be our loud selves, or, for me, I suffered from stage fright for a long time. It's like I would love to sing and dance, but something about getting up in front of people and doing that really made me nervous. So I think that comfortability comes from practice as well.
Yeah.
If you know that you want to be a singer, go in your room if you can, go into the bathroom, close the door. Like I said, look, I had a hairbrush, get a water bottle, sing your heart out. And I think the comfortability just comes from that, from practice, sharpening your skill. If you know that you want to be a dancer, you're a little shy, turn your music up at home if you can, dance your heart out. But that's how you get comfortable with yourself and what you want to do. If you want to be a writer, start journaling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those things really helped me to really just get confident in the things that I wanted to do just through practicing.
Definitely. That's really
Mhm.
good advice. They say practice makes perfect, right? Well,
Absolutely.
some people, they don't believe in perfection, but it helps. It goes a
Oh,
long way.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think too, just kind of like with the modern way of the world, I think even being a creative or wanting to do something in the creative realm as an artist, it could be really hard, right? Because you have things like Instagram and TikTok where you see all of these people kind of doing the same trends. And a lot of the times that could be a killer of your own creativity. Because how many times do you get online, right? You look online and you find yourself kind of starting to compare your life to others. And
Yeah.
comparison can be such a robber of joy. So, especially for a creative spirit, because I think that a lot of creative people find their joy and their creativity from within, right? It's based on, what makes them happy and things like that. So, it's hard to really live out your dreams when you're kind of, always watching someone else's dreams online. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and you actually tapped on a really good topic too, because I think a lot of us that are millennials and even prior to that, we
Mhm.
grew up in a different time.
Yeah,
Everything was not so social media focused, right? And now
absolutely.
the youth, they're growing up in a time where everything is social media like based for the most
Hmm.
part. Everything is like technology and all of that. So I guess how was that transition? I guess it is kind of like a transition, right? Because like we grew up in a different time, and then considering what the world is now, like how did you adapt to all of that, especially being a creative?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that the interesting thing about our generation, like you said, is that we're the only generation that has kind of experienced both, pre social media life and then now, being adults while social media exists. But I mean, I think that like most things, in order for them to grow and to last long term, they have to evolve. So for me, learning, social media, it actually helped my business, especially being a creative, because it was another outlet for me, that I didn't have to be on a big, huge TV show, or I didn't have to be on the radio. It's like I have YouTube and Instagram, which is a way that I can create my own original sketches. Or if you're a singer, you can put a song on there and people can see it
Mhm.
and, really just enjoy and get their talent out there. And I think that it's a good way for people, when used properly, social media, to really actually be social and reach people from around the world when used properly. But then
Yeah.
again, like I mentioned, there's a side of social media that can be not so good. So it's kind of like you have to teeter and redirect your energy when you're on the app.
Yeah. I like to say like balance. You should
Yes.
never like indulge in anything. I say like everything in moderation. And I had to learn for myself. Social media is something that you have to, pace yourself with
Oh,
because
absolutely.
you lose
Everything in
yourself.
moderation, for sure.
Yes, definitely. So, okay. So for slide two, what do we have?
So this is actually a photo of me when I was growing up in Detroit, just being a young, kind of awkward young girl who knew what I wanted to do, but didn't quite have the self confidence yet. I always had a group of friends. These are just kind of some people that I grew up with, on the schoolyard, having a good time. But I just wanted to show this picture to, show me young, kind of wasn't sure of myself, like I mentioned, kind of growing into myself, growing into my personality, and just really trying to work on who I am and understanding my talents and my gifts as I, move forward with my life.
Definitely. My question to you is growing up, what were some of the challenges that you
Mhm.
faced with I guess identifying who you wanted to be in this world?
Absolutely. Some of the challenges that I experienced, growing up in Detroit, in a neighborhood that was, I would say kind of low income. We had our struggles. And just kind of seeing the examples around me, I didn't have a lot of people that did a lot of creative things. So a lot of people didn't really understand it because, being an artist is a lot different than, say, someone who may want to be a doctor or be, an engineer or something like that. So I think that taking the path of creativity was a little bit difficult because, like I said, I didn't have many people to look up to. Lucky for me, in my household, it happened to be my family business. So my father also worked as a television producer, and my mom also was constantly encouraging my creative spirit. So that really helped me. But I think when it came down to it, like I mentioned, attending these programs, finding people who had the same likes that I had, that
Yeah.
we could kind of bounce energies off of each other and ideas was a big thing that helped me growing up.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
And being a young person growing up in the world, especially in today's time, I think a lot of folks are starting to tap into their creativity. That's
Mhm.
something that resonated with me as far as like for me growing up, when I thought of creativity, I thought of an artist, right? Like an actual person that
Yeah.
or that draws or something like that.
Mhm.
But as I matured, I realized that there are so many different avenues when it comes to creativity.
Oh yeah.
And the older I became, I noticed, we have so much potential, but like you said, it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people to make
Mhm.
sure that they're able to help you unleash and unlock that creativity within you.
Absolutely. And like you mentioned, I mean, like you said, when most people think of creativity, they think of an artist or something like that. But even if you're working a job, say in like an office, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
that takes creativity because you have to brainstorm ideas and think of new innovative ways to do something or to get something further. So creativity in general is just, we all have it, right?
Yeah.
We all have a creative side and aspect to ourselves. So I encourage everybody to go towards it. I encourage people to journal, to put their thoughts on paper, to take some time, get off the internet sometimes, young people. Pick up a book, read a book, draw some sketches in a notebook, listen to some music, close your eyes. What do you picture when you close your eyes and you listen to music? All of these different exercises to really help your brain and creativity kind of grow and foster can actually end up helping you in other areas that you don't even expect.
Yeah, for sure. And
Mhm.
you just gave a lot of examples on how young people or people in general can unlock their creativity and expand their
Mhm.
creativity. But specifically for Lauren,
Mhm.
what are some of the strategies that you use to stay creative? Because you are a multifaceted
Yes.
creator. So what are some things that you like to do?
Oh man, some things that I like to do to really help my creativity because it's hard. Like sometimes you get a creator's block,
Yeah,
writer's block, as they say, when you want to create, but nothing's really coming to you. You're having a hard time. So, some of the things that I do for one is that, like I just mentioned, I kind of turn off all the noise. The
yeah,
noise meaning, social media, the television, hanging out with your friends sometimes. Sometimes it's nice to just sit in a nice quiet space. If you can, find a nice quiet space. Maybe even go to a library if you can, sit in a quiet corner and just take some time and be with yourself. I think that as a creative, when you're creating things and you're churning things out, like I mentioned before, it's best when it comes from the heart and it comes from within. So in
Right.
order to do that, you kind of have to find a space within yourself that's calm and peaceful. I also really like to journal. So getting my thoughts down on paper, even if the thoughts aren't really even anything important, it's just what comes to my mind at the time. Like, say if right now I was writing, hey, I'm sitting here at the desk talking to Cheyenne and the young people at the Boys and Girls Club. That's called a stream of consciousness, where you're just putting down your thoughts on paper. And that has been so therapeutic for me in so many different ways. One way, and really just getting my thoughts out. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to put it on paper and express it, because sometimes you don't know how to express it. So writing is a great tool to use to kind of get that creativity sparked up. Listening to music, believe it or not, putting on music always kind of sparks something creative in my mind, and it could even be instrumental music.
Yeah. Like that.
Some people can actually they they hear colors, if that makes sense. So, if you listen to music, sometimes the music, the way, if it's fast, it can make you think of a scene in your head, or if it's slow, maybe you get an image in your mind of something that comes to you to inspire you to write something or sing something or a dance piece that you want to do. So I think that using other art mediums to inspire is great. Sometimes I just like to go to the museum and walk around and look at other different pieces of art and get inspired.
Oh, that's awesome. Lovely. I love that. Sometimes you have to do something different.
Absolutely.
So, continuing with your lovely presentation, slide 3, more personality.
Yeah, so slide 3, coming up, my family did a lot of kind of like these talent shows, if you will, like family talent shows. So this was at one of our like family reunion type of things. And as you can see, I was Miss Personality here. I got another picture somewhere where I'm actually not Miss Personality, but this is just kind of to illustrate like me being young, taking a chance and stepping out and kind of coming out of my shyness to
Okay.
let my personality shine, if you will. One thing that I do want to mention when it comes to preparing yourself in your life for the opportunities that you want to achieve, your goals and things like that, it's so important to continue to sharpen your skills, guys. Practice, 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 because when the opportunity actually does come, you want to be prepared, right? It doesn't make sense to pray for the rain when you don't have your buckets ready, because there were many times in my life where I was getting frustrated because I felt that the pace of things weren't going right. Like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. I know I'm talented. You start to compare. I'm more talented than that person. How come they're doing, what I should be doing, and I could do this and that? But the thing is that you really have to sharpen what you're doing so that when the opportunity comes, you'll be prepared. For example, I was on a show on Netflix called Love is Blind. And going on that show actually pretty much opened the world up to me.
Mhm.
Um, I had a blessed experience, and through that show, I got to meet a ton of people and gain supporters from all over the world who were more interested in learning about me and the things that I do. Prior to that show coming out, I had a really kind of dark time in my life. I didn't really know what direction I was going. Like I mentioned, the stuff that I wanted to do wasn't working. I had my media business, but I was kind of struggling a little bit. But regardless of that, I made sure that I continued to sharpen my skills, that I continued to learn more editing, that I continued to read more books about communicating and talking with people and interviewing,
Yeah.
that I learned the best camera equipment to create things and to create art. So when the show turned around and it came out, that I was so sharp and focused and prepared that, you know, based on the opportunities that I got from the show, I was so ready. Like, give me anything that you throw my way, I was ready, because I sharpened, I practiced, I was focused. And that's what you have to do. Like, even though something may look like it's not gonna happen, like you're struggling, like it's so far away from your dreams and your goals, that just means that you have to keep pushing. If it's in your heart, if you know that that's what you're meant to do, you have to keep pushing. So I
Yeah.
went off on a tangent, but
No, but that was really, really good. And I think it's super important because
Mhm.
I mean, things take time.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times we expect for things to happen on our own time. We make
Mhm.
plans and say, this is what we want, this is when we want to achieve it by, these are the goals that we have, but it takes time and it's not necessarily going to happen when we expect for them to
Right.
happen. So,
Absolutely.
for sure. So yeah, I mean, that was great. And that is applicable for anyone of all ages, right? Because we all set
Absolutely.
goals for the most part, whether if it's work related or whatever. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I just want to say too, when you have a goal and once you reach it, you feel like, oh, yes, I did it. I finally made it. But truth be told, y'all, that's half the battle. Once you reach a goal, that's really when the hard work starts, right? Because it's one thing to wish and hope and pray that you could do something. But once you get there, you have to stay there, right? So that's why it's so important to keep sharpening yourselves, keep pushing yourselves. And yeah, that's
Awesome. I
it.
just want to say also too, I am so sorry that it looks like I'm having like a strobe party in the background. But the light is like on a sensor, so I am so sorry.
Okay.
So, continuing on with the journey of Lauren, what do we have here?
Yeah, so this is actually a picture of me. I mentioned that my father was in the entertainment industry. So he was a writer of a magazine. He produced television shows. He worked for a network called BET for many years of his life. And so, me just being a young girl, hanging around that, seeing my father work with these big personalities, it really inspired me in things that I wanted to do, being able to go to his office and see these things. And, it really just helped my mind to grow and me to visualize the things that I wanted to do as I got older. So this is actually a picture of me when I went to go visit him in his office, being all sassy and stuff. That's me.
I do have a question. So, in this particular moment, if you can remember, what were some of the thoughts that went through your mind? Like, did you know at this moment, because your father, like you said, has been in the industry for quite some time, but
Mhm.
for this moment in this picture, did you maybe know at this point that you definitely wanted to be in the entertainment industry? Like, what were the
Yes.
thoughts?
Yes, absolutely. I definitely did. Like I said, from a young age, I always knew that I wanted to use my voice and my personality somehow. Growing up, it was shows called All That. I know that's way, I'm talking to a group of young people, so they're probably like, what's that? All that? I mean, now we have like Saturday Night Live, right? So
Yeah.
sure you guys have heard of that. But I would see those type of shows and it just fit me so well. Like I love to do skits and sing and dance and that. So watching that as a young person, there was also a show called In Living Color that I used to watch. It really just, some young people may know, I don't know, but it's just called In Living Color. And basically, watching that, it just really inspired me. Like, man, so you mean I can use my crazy, quirky personality and, make a living off of it and entertaining people and inspiring people and motivating them and making them laugh and bringing light to their life. And I think as a young girl, I knew that pretty early on, and I knew that that was what I wanted to do. Although I was shy and I had to battle that, like I said, I still kind
Mhm.
of battle with the stage fright. I actually have a photo in the slideshow. I don't know if you need the numbers, but it was actually entitled, photo stage fright. Mm,
Let's see. Do we know what slide number that
I
is?
think it was number 4, maybe. Wait, which one are we on now? I don't know. It's not really that important, but it was just, oh, that's me with Tina Turner. That was at one of my dad's. He used to have, excuse me, conventions where we used to go, but that's me, being awkward. Once again, growing up, I actually loved Tina Turner. It was a movie out, so I got a chance to meet her, and I just told her that I love her and that I wanted to do this, and I brought my personality and stuff, even though I was awkward. And I remember that she told me, she looked down, she said, honey, you have a lot of personality, and one day you are going to be a star. So I never forgot that. So I hold that picture very close to my heart.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay, so this is the picture I was talking about. Remember I told y'all about the awkwardness and the stage fright? Okay, this is once again one of those family times where, you had to go up and speak on the mic, and I was not here for it, guys. But that's the thing. You have to learn how to let your fears not control you. Just like, imagine if I would have been like, oh, I'm scared, I don't want to share my gifts and talents, I don't want to do that, I never would have been where I'm at now, right? So we have to learn how to push past the fears, because for me, my fear of not achieving my dreams, my fear of not, wanting to do what I currently do to help my family, to help others around me, to help myself, those fears are way larger than the fear of me being afraid to go up in front of, a group of people and share my natural talent. So I just say that to say that, if I can push past it, you guys too, because clearly I struggled with, being in front of people and talking. And now look at me now, I'm talking to you guys. So it's possible.
Definitely.
So these are also just some photos of me from the one on the left is from like middle school, and the one on the right is from high school. And basically, I was just kind of illustrating, taking this picture to show you guys that I really had a point in time when I was just trying to learn my way. I was, my day to day, I was trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do with my life. In high school, I was able to join like theater club and radio club. So that really gave me an opportunity to kind of, be more confident in the things that I wanted to do and push past my fears.
Awesome.
This is actually so in high school, I started doing pageants because my mom thought that it was a good way for me to learn how to communicate better. Because one thing about what I do, because I also host television shows, I've done a show with like MTV, I've done some work with Ellen, of course, I've done some stuff with Netflix, and learning how to speak and communicate is so important in this field. One thing, because you always want to communicate how you're feeling, right, to other people, but you also want to be able to hold a conversation with someone so that they feel comfortable enough to communicate back with you. So during my time, doing pageants, I really learned a lot about myself and communication, and I was still awkward. That's all I just wanted to show the photo that always stayed with me, and I think that for me, with my awkwardness, because so many people are like, oh, I'm awkward, I'm shying away from it, I don't want to be this way, but use me as an example, use Issa Rae as an example. Learning and discovering and loving who you are and your personalities, including your awkwardness, including your quirkiness, including the things that you feel like make you kind of not like the rest of the group stand out, right? Those are the things that you should own and love about yourself, because keep this in mind, young people. It is only one of you, okay? You are one of one. So the things that you have that other people don't have, those are great because they make you special and they make you you, right? Nobody can be you like you can. So for me, growing up and being a personality and using my voice and even utilizing my awkwardness and being myself is amazing. I got a chance to really just own my personality, own who I am, and that's where my success came from. It didn't come from me trying to be like everyone else or hiding who I really am. My success came when I ran towards that awkwardness, because I'm sure that there are some of you that are watching like, I'm kind of awkward too. I can relate to her. And that's what it's all about. Being yourself, loving yourself, and letting your organic, true, authentic self be the star. That's what it's all about.
Allowing your gift to make room for you.
Yes, absolutely. This is a photo once I graduated high school, me and my parents. By this time, see, I had got fully comfortable with my personality, and my parents were like, oh, Lord, have mercy. She's so much. But I just wanted to include this photo because yeah, I was just happy that I was graduating. I just thought that my parents' response to my personality was kind of funny because, you know, growing up, they were like, okay, Lauren, okay, you know, you got a lot of personality, you got to let it out. And I just thought that this picture was a good illustration of me letting it out and then being like, okay. So
Yeah.
um, so after I went to college and I actually majored in electronic media and film and I minored in theater, then I started hosting radio. I started hosting events. And that's actually my brother in the photo. He DJs. So we've actually hosted a couple events together. But once again, I'm just showing this as an illustration of some of the stuff that I've done and in my life. I actually like to think of myself, this is my college graduation as well with some of my friends, as a Jill of all trades. It's funny because when I was younger, I always wanted to do all these multiple different things. I never really wanted to do one thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to dance, I wanted to sing, I wanted to act, I wanted to host. And I will always get told so many times, like, Lauren, you want to do so much. Like, you have to pick one thing to do and that's it. And I like to say, you know, when you shine a light on a diamond, it comes out of all the sides, right? Not just one. So that's how I think of myself. And it's so funny because now, fast forward to today, modern day, it's like you kind of have to know how to do everything, right?
Yeah.
For example, if you're on social media, if you have a business or something you're promoting, you have to know how to promote it. You have to know how to maybe take some pictures on your phone. You have to know how to communicate those things. So it's always good to kind of just be multifaceted and learn different things. And also that's a good way to really learn what you're passionate about and learn, you know, what you're naturally good at as well. So then when it comes time for you to pick a skill to sharpen something that really draws you in, then, you know, that's a good way to find it, is to try different things.
Definitely.
This is a photo of me in Atlanta with my camera. Around this time is when I really kind of started digging deep into my media business. And pretty much I ended up quitting my regular job and taking a chance and really stepping out and having my own business. And you guys, it was really scary and it did not do good at first. But that's the thing about taking a chance. Sometimes you may fail, you know, it may not go exactly how you plan it to go. But the thing is that sometimes when that happens, there's always a lesson when things don't work out how you think that they should.
Right.
So you take those losses and you turn them into lessons. And I really just kind of use that fuel to push me even harder, you know, push me even harder, even further, to really kind of zero in on what I wanted to do. And, you know, it just made me even hungrier. So this
Amazing.
is a photo of me hosting some events as my career started to kind of, you know, grow and move forward. It's just a photo of me hosting some events in Atlanta where I live. So this is actually this year. This is one of the jobs that I'm really super proud of because it's a dream that I always wanted to do. This year, I actually got to host a television show with MTV and Pepsi. Pardon me. Which to me, you know, growing up, like that little girl that we saw back in those pictures before, like I used to watch MTV and dream. So the fact that I got to do this, and look at me being my authentic self, okay? I got my Bantu knots, all right, looking all beautiful and myself. And it was just a dream come true. And in that moment, I actually cried so hard on this day because all of the stuff that I had been through in life, the moments that I really wanted to give up, the moments that I thought that I would never get to this point, I thought about all those times, the times that I cried, the times that I was sad, the times that I were frustrated. And I thought to myself, like, what if I would have given up? I would never have the chance to have this moment right now. So I was just, you know, that day was like a dream come true. And, you know, if I could do it, you all can do it too.
Absolutely.
And this is actually from that same shoot. This was in LA and we were just kind of shooting on a mountaintop. And this is just kind of pretty much, you know, how I look at where my career is at now, just the progression of that young girl that you saw that was, you know, kind of not so comfortable with herself, not so sure of herself, and just kind of the journey to growing into myself and flourishing and yeah, just really appreciating the journey and the things that I've learned.
That's amazing. First, I mean, thank you so much for sharing your journey, your story. It's
Thank
absolutely
you.
beautiful to watch the evolution. And it resonates with me. I'm pretty sure it resonates with a lot of folks that are tuned in this
Mhm.
evening because I think sometimes we stand in our own way, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So yeah, so thank you so much, Lauren. And I know that we have two of our alumni students that would like to jump in and ask
All
some
right.
questions of their own. We
Okay.
have Kamoy and Deshani. So here they are.
Hello.
Hey Lauren,
Hi.
Hi.
how are you tonight or this evening?
I'm doing excellent. Excellent. Excited to be among such talented and special young people as yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you.
Likewise.
Likewise. No, for sure. I'm like starstruck.
So Kamoy, go ahead and kick off the questions for this evening.
Okay, so hello again, Lauren. Um Basically I was hearing a lot of how you came up basically and how you had a lot of outside influences as well as yourself that help to mold who you are in front of us right now.
Mhm.
Um my question to you is, what is a moment that you felt as though you weren't qualified or
Hmm.
you weren't um what's the word, equipped with what was necessary to
Mm.
be where you are right now, to be doing what you're doing, to be hosting, acting, all of that? What's a time when you felt like you were unprepared or you didn't feel worthy enough?
Yeah, wow, that's a great question.
Oh, sorry, to add more, and what did you do to get over that?
Absolutely. For me, a lot of the self-doubt in my life, I've worked hard to kind of learn how to understand when it's the little voice in my head is telling me things that aren't true. You know what I'm saying? Saying
Right,
that you're not worthy of this, saying that you don't have everything that you need. Because the truth be told, when it comes to your gifts and your talents, everything that you need is already inside of you. You know, you're missing nothing. It's already there.
right,
It just kind of takes for you to kind of step into it and be confident. And when it comes to those things, I'm sure that you guys have heard the term fake it till you make it. You know, sometimes you just kind of have to suck it up, take a deep breath. Remember your why. Remembering my why has always been important to me. Why do I want to do this? Why am I stepping into this audition right now? Why is it that I want to go and host this, to better my life, to better my family's life? And I think in those moments when I'm feeling self doubt or that I'm not enough, I just remember why I'm doing it. I deserve to live out my dreams. I have everything that I need, that I'm equipped with to do it. So I think that just taking those times to kind of silence yourself, center yourself, and understanding why you're doing it definitely helped me a lot.
awesome. I understood that.
Awesome.
Great. Deshani, you can ask your question.
Hi. So, one of my questions is that I've noticed. I heard that you mentioned that your mom was like one of your biggest like managers. Was it? I guess whenever I hear people have like their moms as managers, it never really sounds good. It's like there's a momager that's only interested in
Yeah.
living vicariously through their child. So what was that experience like for you, like having your mom, like was like a best friend type of relationship that also benefited you like career wise? Like what was that like?
Absolutely. So my mom, she wasn't really my manager, but she was definitely my mom in charge of my life as a young person. With that being said, she really just more so supported me in the things that I wanted to do. For example, if I told her that I was interested in doing dance, and she would find a dance class that I could be a part of, or if I told her that I'm interested in doing theater, she would find a theater troupe that I can join. And even growing up, uh you know, my mom has pretty much always supported me, of course. As most mother-daughter relationships, we've had our times when we've bumped heads because we didn't necessarily agree. But at the end of the day, you know, she's always my mom, and I love her. And I know that she's there to support me, and, you know, that we love each other. So just having her there to support has always meant the world to me. But she wasn't my manager, but she's always overlooking on my shoulder, if you will. So
Awesome. And I guess, Lauren, my question, I guess my last question would be, what advice would you have? I mean, you dropped a lot of gems this evening, right? And I think we're all grateful for that. But what advice would you give to those that are silently moving in their gifts, you know, and that maybe they don't have the support that they need.
yeah.
Maybe they don't have the programs available to them to go forth and operate in their gifts. Like they just don't have resources. They're lacking in a lot of different areas. What advice would you give to those young people?
Absolutely. You know, to those young people, I definitely say just pretty much sharpening your skill within yourself. If you can, you know, maybe find books about it, go to the library. If you have access to YouTube, it's also great to learn things on there. But I think that it comes down to yourself. You know, like I said, if you want to be a singer, honey, you sing your heart out in the mirror, in the bathroom. Just act like the brush is your microphone. Practice. If you want to be a dancer, you dance. Practice your moves, you know, stretch, get your body together. If you want to write plays or if you want to be on television, look in the mirror, practice talking in the mirror, practice your communication skills, things like that. You know, I think that you don't necessarily have to go to a program or a class to really learn how to sharpen and better your skill. It's something that you could do within yourself, something at home. So yeah, that's definitely what I would recommend.
Awesome. And Deshani, do you have a last question? Sure.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. So, I remember watching Love Is Blind when I was in like 11th grade in high school, and that's really all I knew you from. And like, has it ever been a time where people have come up to you and only known you for like being with your husband Cameron, and like not from what you are as a person? And like, if so, like, how do you combat that? And how do you tell people that, hey, I'm more than my show, I'm more than my husband, I have my own career and I have my own life? Like, how do you separate the two? Because Love Is Blind was such a big show. I was like talking about it like with my friends like all year. And like I didn't even know that you did other stuff. So like I'm sure that it must get frustrating, like having people come to you and only know you for one thing, and you have a whole like resume of stuff that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question. Right. And I've had a lot of interviews and no one has ever asked me that question, and that's an excellent question to ask.
Thank you.
You know, for me, I think that I don't know if I would say that it's frustrating per se. If someone meets me through the platform of Love Is Blind, that's how they meet me, but that doesn't have to mean that that's necessarily the only thing that they'll know about me, right? Because if you see me on Love Is Blind, if you're like, I kind of want to know more about that girl, if you Google her, if you go on my page, I have all my stuff on there, the stuff that I've worked on. Even just through conversations, I think not that when I meet someone new, I have to be like, hey, you also I do this too, just so you know that there's more to me. I think that when you have your gifts and talents, that they kind of speak for themselves. But, you know, if someone doesn't understand you right off bat, that's okay, because there's always room for them to get to know you and to get to know your gifts and talents. You don't necessarily have to force them upon people. I think that sometimes naturally, when it's time for the sun to shine on the things that they need to know about, then they will. And yeah, that's just how I look at it. And you know, I'm grateful for the platform from Love Is Blind, because like I said, that kind of introduced me to a whole audience of people from all around the world that I didn't have before. And like I mentioned during the talk earlier, I've been practicing and waiting for these moments and these opportunities. All of a sudden the show comes out and people are like, hey, I like your personality. Have you ever hosted a show? Because I feel like you would be really good. And I'm like, have I? For this? Are you kidding me? I've been practicing in my mirror with a brush, hosting shows. So
with a brush.
a water bottle, a brush, whatever you got. But it's those moments that make all the difference. It's the preparation when the opportunity comes. You may not know who I am, but you will, right? Mm-hmm. But you will.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And Kamoy, you have one more question?
Yes, I do. As we all know, maybe this meeting might have been in person. We don't know. But we are living in a pandemic right now, and it's literally evolving and mutating basically every day now. Yeah. How did this pandemic change who you are as a person? Whether it's physically, mentally, professionally, and not only the pandemic, but what happened during the pandemic. There was the Black Lives Matter movement that basically skyrocketed at one point last year. How did all of that affect who you are as a person up until now? Because this meeting might have been in person. We might have been sitting next to each other.
Absolutely.
So, like your career, how did things change for that? How did you adapt? What did you have to overcome? Things like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I feel like last year was such a loaded year for so many different reasons. I mean, we all experienced the things that were happening in the pandemic, right? We were all affected. It wasn't just something that affected one person or a few people. We all felt it. And I think that for me, kind of being forced to sit still and be at home really in the midst of everything that was happening, like you said, with the Black Lives Matter movement and all the racial things that were happening, it really was an awakening for me of who I am in this world and who I want to be in this world so that I can go and change it in the future, right?
Right.
Career-wise, I think that it really just kind of forced me to sit and focus on the things that I want to do. I would say just overall in the pandemic, it really just gave me a new respect for life in general, for how precious life is, for really valuing life and people for who they are. And it just taught me a lot about being a human being, existing as a human being on this earth, in this society, and how I want to be better, how I want to inspire others to be better, how I plan on changing the world in different ways, and hopefully inspiring and motivating other people to do so. Because it was definitely a struggle for me. I mean, especially that was the same year when the show came out. So imagine me, kind of all of a sudden having all this platform and all these people watching me and being in a situation that kind of had a racial undertone of being on the show already. And then, you have all of the things that are happening with the BLM movement. It was a lot for me to handle at first, just kind of all that stuff kind of crashing into each other at once. But I realized that it was really important for me to take my time and really assess and understand everything that was going on, and then kind of move from there. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you both, Deshani and Kamoy. And I believe we have one question from the audience. If we can get it on the screen. So question for you, Lauren. What are you currently working on now that you can share from Annie Speller?
Yes, Annie Speller. Well, I'm working on a lot of different things. One thing that I'm really super excited about is really creating my own original content. So I'm actually planning on writing some shows, some documentaries, furthering my business, hosting some new stuff. I can't say too much right here. But just continuing to work and using my voice and my personality to make a difference in this world. I don't just want to be known as the girl from Love is Blind. I want to use my platform and my voice and my life to be an example for others to go forward and be light and be love in this world, because it's so necessary. So that is my goals. Those are my plans for this up and coming year. And yeah, I'm happy to be here and start here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren. And in closing, I would like you to please share how we all can keep up with you. Of course, your social media handles, all of that stuff, and any other fun things that you are currently working on that you are able to talk about.
Absolutely. So you can keep up with me on my social media on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. My name is Need4L Speed, Need4L Speed. Also on YouTube, you can go there. You can watch all of the content that I've created, some fun stuff, some fun sketches, some kind of reality-based stuff too that I produced. My YouTube is Hanging with the Hamiltons. It's with my husband Cameron, who was also on Love is Blind. So we just we create stuff together. But those are places you can go to check me out, check out the stuff that I do, and yeah, learn more about me.
Awesome. Well, on behalf of the entire Madison Square Boys and Girls Club, Jade, Sarah, myself, and everyone that is tuned in tonight, I just want to say thank you once again, Lauren, for joining us, for spilling the tea on your life, on your journey, and just dropping all those gems that you did drop this evening. Definitely quite a few tweetable moments. So thank you so very much. And I hope that we are able to do this again soon.
Absolutely. Anytime. And once again, I just want to say to all you young people, just keep in mind that you are special. Your authentic self. You are enough. The original. You don't need to be a copy. You, yourself, you have everything. You're equipped with everything that you need to go out into the world and become the best version of yourself so that you can make it better for those that come after you. So thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored and blessed to spend this time with you guys. And anytime y'all need me to come back, I'm here.
Thank you. I'll make sure that my strobe light isn't going off.
Yes, it's a dance party.
For sure. Thank you so much. And you all have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you.